Finance Friday. I said it so well last night. Of course, I had to go ahead and screw it up this time, huh? I'll get it one of these days. Anyways, um, poll results. I was actually surprised to once again see that the poll results were pretty much well split. I think the dividing line may have been people who did not want to be landlords. So maybe if I would have chosen a different example, it may have gone a little differently. But it did seem like that was kind of a big reason why some people chose to um, just to pay down the debt. So or go debt free as opposed to investing in something else. So in keeping with our theme this week, I am going to be talking tonight about debt free versus um, making other choices, choosing other options, whether they be whatever. It could be investing in your education, in your health, in your in stocks, in real estate, of course, whatever the case might be, a business, you name it. The sky's the limit on this one. So, and not that one is better than any other. Just a little mental exercise, a little math exercise in there too, to get the kids thinking. So, um, I would recommend, and I'll give you an example, but I'd recommend actually, customizing this to your household, because it just makes it a little more fun. It may give you some ideas that you hadn't thought of before. And, it's always good for the kids to, have a basic understanding of kind of the inner workings of the household so that when they get out on their own, they're not, shocked by it all and overwhelmed. If they, and sometimes too, if they understand, how much it costs to run a household nowadays, they might not take quite so much for granted. A lot of times kids are like, hey, give me $10 a week for allowance, or they want more, they want $100 for an A, or whatever the case may be. Not thinking about the fact that, one, you may not be making much more than that, or actually, depending on where you are in the country, you may be making less. And then you have to take that money and pay for rent, utilities, clothes, toiletries, a car, life insurance, auto insurance, house insurance, rental insurance, food, fun, toys, vacations. The list goes on and on and on. And so sometimes if you can, put these things in ways the kids can understand. I know people who will. They'll give their kids $10 for allowance a week, but then they're expected to put a dollar away for their future, give a dollar away, whatever, they have to break it up accordingly, maybe even give a little bit back to the household to help cover those expenses that the child basically creates, especially if they get a little rambunctious and maybe break something. And so, things happen, but it's good for your children to know that there are things that have to be done with your money and to be a little bit responsible with it. And it's not just about, getting something for nothing and then going out and buying whatever your heart desires, or just being, there are people right now I know that, just buy their kids whatever they want. So holidays and birthdays aren't a big deal because they've already gotten everything they wanted throughout the year, and they just want more and more. And they have no concept of saving for something they want or working for something they want or contributing to the household. Not that I see anybody else here doing that, and I'm definitely not a parental expert, but from a financial standpoint, I do know that when those kids get out on their own, they're going to need a lot of help from someone like me to help them make that transition. And so with that, I'm going to give this example, but like I said, please feel free to you can use this one or use anything that works for you. You may want to take your credit card. You could actually take out your credit card statement and show the kids, what your credit card balance is, and and then say, hey, if we got the money to pay this off, would we pay it off, or what else are we doing? If we did pay it off, what would we do with that minimum balance? If we chose to do something else with it, what would and as they get a little bit older, you can actually factor in, the concept of, interest in seeing, well, if I put it here, the mortgage is 3%, the credit card is 25%, stocks are, say 8%, whatever, and just kind of playing with it to see what the result could be. So, the example I used here is, what if you, told the kids that here's our mortgage, it's 10,000, we owe 10,000 on the house right now. Originally it was 25,000, but we've been paying $1,000 a month for the last 20 years, and so now it's down to 10,000. If Santa Claus were to bring us $10,000 as a Christmas gift, would we pay off the mortgage, or would we use it for something else? Would we use it to get a degree, even though we know a degree is not $10,000? Let's just say, because we're using fun money here anyways. Or would we use it to start a business? Would we use it for something else? Like I said, I actually put in the example, I know a lot of teens who would use that money to, become rich and famous playing video games on YouTube, or being the next TikTok star, whatever the in thing is that they're into, which is a viable option. There are kids that if you were able to hire a team to help you, do everything you got to do to get your name out there and become super popular and monetize your social media channel, you could. There's, and so, if they decide to pay off the mortgage, what would they spend the extra $1,000 a month on? And if they decide to take that $10,000 and use it on something else, what would the payback be on that? And I put down the example that, at 10,000, getting a degree could make a huge difference in how much you make a year. Or, starting a business, once again, could make a huge difference in how much you make a year. And putting it in the stock market, the stock market could double in 8 to 9 years. That's what it historically does. Right now it's doing it faster, but, even with the ups and downs, on average, it's about every 8 to 9 years. You get the idea. So, they could decide to turn around and buy another house that, become a landlord, that not everybody wants to do. But, if they want people to pay them to live in a house they own, they could choose that. And then they get that residual income plus the asset as you pay off, the loan on the rental property. So the big important thing here is that the math does not need to be perfect. All you want to do is get them thinking about making decisions that will affect them in the long term, because that's what it's all about. They need to know that you can do this and get the instant gratification, or you can do this over here, and it may take a little bit longer. And but it could, or maybe not, have a different word. You could have them put that 10,000 in the stock market. Actually, this kind of rolls back to, I think it was our first Family Friday, Finance Friday. But we talked about the stock market, and you could actually have them take that $10,000 and put it in a stock, and then see how the stock does, see how they would do, so that they get an idea of how volatile the stock market can be. How they can make a lot of money quick, but they can lose it even quicker. So, and it may help them, build some strategies and stuff for when they are adults. So, as always, please share below if you tried this exercise with the kids, and if they enjoyed it, what their answers were, what they came up with. I love to hear their creativity. And as always, if you have any ideas for future Family Finance Fridays, let me know, either by dropping me a note, leaving a comment, whatever you prefer. And I guess on that note, if you have any questions, let me know as well. But I hope that I was able to explain this. I thought about doing a spreadsheet for this one, or some kind of worksheet for it, and I don't know, it just didn't really feel right putting that together. So I figured, you're better off kind of grabbing something you already have and kind of working from reality, at least to whatever extent your children can grasp that, and how much you might share with them. I know some people are very uncomfortable sharing their actual financial situation with their children. If so, I'd highly recommend that you break that right now, and just because that is part of the whole shame and guilt and fear around money in our society is, because some people have made it such a taboo subject. So if you find that that's your big resistance, is you're afraid what your kids will think, that's a very good reason, to go ahead and do it anyways. That said, once again, make it age appropriate, and your kids best. If they're going to go and tell everyone in their neighbor about your business, then you might want to hold back. But you know, if you do what's right for you. Let's just put it that way. So, anyways, on that note, I will let y'all go. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next week. Bye.